Good day, fellow scapers. My name's Deck, but please call me Hobo, and welcome back to my channel. So, with so much capacity to be able to take part in things like dailies, weeklies, and monthlies, it can be really challenging to take part in some of the real meatier parts of the game, especially with the amount of noise there is around Dailyscape. Quite a few of you have already messaged me, asking me to do an in-depth dailies guide in terms of what I tend to do, and some of you have already said that you don't have time to take care of dailies because there's so many of them that it wouldn't leave you with any other time to do anything else in the game. So what I thought I would do is I would help you out by taking out some of the noise from Dailyscape to enable you to do more of your favourite things to do in game. I'll be breaking this video down into how much time each daily takes, as well as how much experience points you get from it and the profit that you will get off the back of it as well. Also, I'll mention any kind of like niche information that's relevant to each daily. First up on the list is mining sandstone. So the key thing about mining sandstone is that it's absolutely phenomenal for irons. It can be heated into molten glass, which is used for a variety of different things. For example, molten glass can be crafted into potion flasks, crystal flasks, as well as the blessed flask, which is used for typically quite niche PVM related content, such as running elite dungeons or alternatively taking on Zuck. Now typically mining sandstone for me takes me approximately 8 minutes, and this is using good teleports as well, such as the attuned crystal teleport seed and good teleports into the desert. Now I will say 8 minutes for me is because I've unlocked all 4 of the mining spots. Of course, if you only have 2 or 3 of them, it means that realistically this activity is not going to take you quite as long. In terms of experience points, across the 8 minutes I received 10,000 experience in mining, and I received 140 base materials, which is 70 of each, the red sandstone and the crystal flex sandstone. Now, cumulatively, the sandstone together is worth approximately 1 mil in the 8 minutes that you're mining this. So if you were to extrapolate this over an hourly GP average, you'll be looking at approximately 8 million. On top of that, in terms of mining experience, you'll be looking at 70,000. So I've actually been doing this activity for months after getting my blessed flask, but I've realised on this breakdown, this is definitely no longer worth doing for me. There are so many more ways that I could get more experience per hour, and the GP per hour isn't worth it either. Doing Anima Core, you can achieve more than 160k per hour, and doing the LA Crablets on Uncharted Isles, it's an average of 240k per hour. On top of that, you can AFK Corrupted or Improv Dennis, and it's much better in terms of XP in comparison. So the amount of money that you would earn per hour doing this task, you could be doing so many more things that would earn you more money, which would give you the opportunity then to do different things like the LA Crablets, which are significantly better experience per hour. So the verdict, it's time for this daily to get binned. Don't do it. Next up on the hit list is Guthix Cache. Guthix Cache is a daily activity that can be formed, which will grant divination experience off the back of it. At level 99, it takes me approximately 5 minutes to complete this activity. Now, whilst you don't get any loot per se, you do get the occasional drop of a diviner outfit piece, which when worn will grant an experience buff boost of up to 6%, I believe. So for 5 minutes worth of work, at the end of it, I am granted 73,000 divination experience, which is the equivalent of about 900,000 divination experience per hour. When you compare this activity against the next optimal ones, such as looking at wisp colonies, the next best thing is a wisp, which provides only 110,000 experience per hour, or the Hall of Memories, which is 225k experience per hour. In terms of a specialist setup, there isn't one. You don't really need anything. Best to have an Elder Divination outfit so you've got an easy teleport to any colony. However, you could just go in the buff and teleport to Falador if you'd like to and run alongside the castle wall. My verdict, if you're looking to train divination and you need good experience, this is absolutely an activity that's worth doing. Editing Hobo here with some shameless self-promotion. If this is the kind of content that you like, let YouTube know you like it by liking it. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel. Also, feel free to let me know if you feel like I missed anything in game, and let others learn from our collective misfortune. Just so you know, I upload most weeks and I stream most Fridays at 7 PM game time. I hope to see you there, but in the meantime, back to the video. So the next daily I do, well, is a daily farm run. Now, I think that this is a unique daily in the sense that it has to be done to train any form of this skill, in the sense that for combat you can do a variety of things. You can train on dummies, you can train on monsters, you can train on bossing, but with farming it's very unique that you actually have to farm to be able to get any bit of experience. That being said, I could spend at least 20 to 40 minutes at least if I was to farm every single patch across Gillinor. My typical run tends to consist of herb runs only. The locations include Trollheim, they include the Garden of Carid, Falador, Prefdinis, Mauritania, Wildy, Catherby and Ardoyne. Now, a typical run tends to take me between 4 to 8 minutes, depending on whether or not my farm cape procs and collects all of the herbs quickly into noted items using my master farmer outfit. In terms of inventory, I use a Juju farming potion, teleports to the Garden of Carid, Falador and Prefdinis, as well as runes for both Ardoyne and Trollheim. I would massively encourage you to be on the Lunar Spellbook for this, because you will have teleports to both Ardoyne as well as Trollheim as well, which can take a little while to get to. I would also advise that you have the Green Fingers aura unlocked as well, as this will boost the amount of herbs that you can farm per patch. Now, if you've unlocked the 10 times multiplier through the Crux Druids at the Garden of Carid, then you can perhaps walk away with around 400 herbs in your pocket at the end of every farm run. Now, I personally typically tend to do the Dwarf Weed, which sells at around 7k each, and that makes it about 2.8 million per run. If you were to average this over the hour, you would be looking at approximately 23 million per hour, which in terms as a money maker is very good standalone money. I get around 50k per run, which isn't terrible either. That being said, I didn't do that part for the XP. I typically tend to do it for the profit. To do the XP side of things, I typically do the player-owned farms as well as the ranch out of time. They grant large bursts of experience, and they have a similar format in the sense that you don't have to be logged into the game to accrue the maturity of each of your animals. So for me personally, I'm going to be abandoning everything aside from my Chinchompas and anything that will grant me the bottled dinosaur roars as well. This is because the Chinchompas can be used for skilling, which will further boost experience rates in other things. And then, of course, the bottled dinosaur roars sell quite nicely. Of course, if you're an iron, you're probably going to need to do it all. So farming is a slow burner, but as long as you stay on top of it and do it semi-often, you'll get to level 99 or level 120 in no time at all. If you just want the loot and large bursts of experience, you don't even need to do a typical farm run. Worthwhile bonuses would be maxing out the Crux Garden benefits, including the skip growth, which means that there's a lesser chance for the herbs to get deceased while you're away. Now, what's the verdict for farming? So if you're looking for money, definitely do a farm run. It's low effort for good GP, and it really does add up. I have a couple of 100 million GPs worth of herbs sat in the bank ready to go to sell just before double experience weekend. If you want XP only, then you could just rely on the player-owned farms and the ranch out of time, as the time to do the maintenance is very, very minimal, in terms of maybe 5 minutes every couple of days just to drop some more food in. Now for the next daily. So there are two ways to train rune crafting at my level, which is effectively optimal. One is you can do crafting soul runes through the abyss, which is an average of around 200,000 experience per hour without a demonic skull, or alternatively 280,000 with a demonic skull. The other is Runespan, and it's farming undead souls, which provides the equivalent of 133,000 experience per hour. Now, I personally find Runespan to be incredibly boring, and I find rune crafting to be too click intensive for the amount of experience that you get. So instead, using the Wicked Hood, you get 3 teleports to any of the altars of your choice, and you can also withdraw up to 100 essence as well. Now, coupled with the fact that I use every pouch aside from the massive pouch, which always degrades and cannot be repaired, if using the 3 teleports, I can typically perform this activity in about 9 minutes flat, which produces an average of approximately 410 runes, which is 350k GP and 37k experience. If you extrapolate this over an hour, you would be looking at approximately 4.2 million GP, and you'd also be looking at 444k experience. The inventory you would use would be the aforementioned pouches, a power burst of sorcery for double the rune production, as well as the catalytic anima stones. In terms of equipment, I'm very minimal. I only typically tend to use the Wicked Hood, and then I also use the Silverhawk boots for the capacity to proc agility experience whilst I'm doing it. So what's the verdict on this method? Well, for me personally, I find the typical rune crafting method seems to be a bit subpar in comparison experience-wise. The GP rates aren't phenomenal on either method. So for me, the experience is the most important thing, and the experience is also significantly more for significantly less effort. I would also mention that, of course, I'm going to be saving my protein essence for double experience, because then I don't have to move away from the soul altar. Again, I would recommend being on the Lunar Spellbook for this occasionally, because you will need to repair those pouches, and there are spells in the Lunar Spellbook which not only repairs the pouches but grants up to 400% HP. Next daily up is PVM related, and I'm of course talking about Reaper tasks. Now, when I do bossing, my personal preference is to take on one boss. It keeps my presets down, and also it means that I have the muscle memory each and every time I take on that boss. So I personally skip most Reaper tasks unless it's the boss that I'm actually looking to farm. That being said, the bonuses and the loot can be extremely lucrative. If you get a rare drop from a boss, it can range from a couple of million all the way up to 1 billion, and the range on that is absolutely massive. It depends on the level at which you boss. You can also passively get things like the Hydrixes as a reward from death, and of course you get Slayer experience alongside that as well. The time it takes and the loot you receive varies by boss, so it's very difficult to quantify whether how much experience and how much loot and GP you get per hour. That being said, if you enjoy bossing and it's one of the things that you want to do more of in the game, the verdict on this as to whether or not this daily is worth doing, my answer to that would absolutely be yes. If you don't like bossing, you have no intention of doing any bossing, then of course this won't be a daily that you would touch. However, if you're dead set like me on taking on, some of the bigger and the badder bosses in the game, then absolutely this is a slam dunk winner, because it just means that you can potentially passively earn more GP, and you will also get a little bit of experience alongside. Now on to the next daily. So I think I've mentioned quite a few of my videos at this point that I typically tend to go to Uncharted Isles daily, and I haven't done a breakdown as to why, particularly as Uncharted Isles doesn't really grant any sellable loot. So as you're traveling between different islands, when you come across an island that you like, you can save that island as a personalized island, which you can revisit time and time again just by planting a flag. Now, I've come across an island which has granted me 3 golden bamboo rare resources, and I've placed a flag on it. The reason for this is each golden bamboo grants a fixed amount of experience, which is approximately 65,500 XP. It takes roughly 10 minutes to finish each of those resources. If you were then to look to multiply the 65,500 experience by 12, giving you an hourly average, you would be looking anywhere between 700 to 800,000 experience. And the user experience is almost completely AFK. Now, for comparison, the next best activity is Crystal Trees, which is not quite as AFK, and with maximum boost, you're looking at approximately 200,000 experience per hour. Now, on top of that, both of these methods grant no true loot. You can get Golden Bamboo only, which is used to sell for chimes, a currency on the island of Waiko. So what equipment do I use? I would typically tend to use the Lumberjack aura with the Sentinel outfit, as well as an Incando hatchet. Porters are very useful here as well, so it saves you from banking. And if you have it, use the Premier boost that enables you to have the Porter buff, which can also save you a little bit of money in the form of saving you porters. A Grace of the Elves and a brooch are also worth having here, just for the storage of urns and of course the blessings. So what's the verdict for this one? I really like the AFK-ness of Uncharted Isles. There are no teleports necessary to get there apart from getting your way to Port Sarim. So I would definitely advise investing this as a daily if you're looking for woodcutting experience. You can choose to do it daily, weekly, monthly. The choice is yours. Personally, I like the maximum amount of experience and I want to get to 120 as soon as possible. So for me, I do this as one of my dailies. Now for the quickest daily that I possibly do, and have to do it every single day religiously. I've said in previous videos that I absolutely despise fishing, and even since that video I still despise it. Nothing's changed. It's incredibly slow skill to train, and even the best method, which is very click intensive, still only comes to 285,000 experience per hour, and like I said, it's extremely click intensive. Now, I'm in this for the long haul. I need to get to 120 fishing, so an activity that takes me 1 minute per day to get myself set up for a completely AFK hour and net me a fixed experience rate of 350k. Instant verdict of yes. I am talking about visiting Aya and depositing all of the Anachronia resources that I've built up in the day. I just use a enriched Pontifex Shallow Ring to get to the hibernation pod and teleport. To get there, it takes them less than 1 minute, and you just go there, deposit your clay, and then return. It's the quickest daily that I have. If you need more information on that, then I'll link the video in the description on how to optimize your fishing experience for the best fishing rate in game. But listen, that's it for this video. So thank you so much for watching and taking the time to listen to me. If you liked what you saw, remember to hit like and maybe even consider subscribing to my channel. Hopefully I'll catch you in my next RuneScape misadventure. Happy scaping.